You're listening to Ambitious AF, a podcast that will help you level up, find positivity, and put yourself on top right now and every day for the rest of your life. I'm your host, Caroline Lewis, and each week I will bring you a guest or thought that will motivate you to get out of bed every morning with the willingness to succeed. Being ambitious means you are proud of who you are and everything you've accomplished. Only you can make that happen, though. But with the help of this podcast, you will rise to the top. You will find success. You will believe in yourself and manifest happiness. And most importantly, you will become ambitious AF. I know you are eager to begin, so let's get started. All right. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Ambitious AF. I'm Caroline Lewis, and this is episode number 4 of the podcast. Thanks so much for tuning in, and thank you so much for all of your support. I hope you guys have been enjoying the podcast thus far. Remember, I do a new podcast every week on Wednesdays, and now I am on iTunes. I should be on Spotify as well as Google Play, or pretty much wherever you download podcasts. So I encourage you guys to hit that like and follow, give me some comments, share the love, and also I appreciate feedback. So seriously, give me any feedback your heart desires. So with that being said, I wanted to touch base on something that could be a little bit touchy to some people, but it's definitely something that's been driving me crazy recently. Of course, we are, it's April 28th, 2020, and we are still dealing with this coronavirus. Some states are still, actually, I think most states are in a lockdown. Some are starting to open up this Friday, and most are going to open back up, I think, next week, but I'm not holding my breath. And today's topic is, there is no excuse you can make that will matter. Ooh, haha, touchy. And you're probably making an excuse right now. As I said, there is no excuse you can make that will matter. Guys, excuses are not actions, and actions are what make things happen. So essentially, excuses don't make anything happen. You've got to believe that. And I wanted to talk about this topic today because, first off, when the coronavirus was just hitting the surface, there was, tons of freak out and tons of hype. And then there was a lot of excuse makers, those that don't wash their hands all the time. Or don't cover their mouth when they cough. There were excuse makers and excuses throughout the quarantine, throughout the coronavirus spreading, right? There was excuses like, oh, I can't go to work today because I'm just scared of my health. Okay, that's cool. But do you feel ill? Are you, where do you go after work? Are you washing your hands? Are you covering your face, covering your coughs? Are you in next to people all the time, breathing in their spit and saliva? Are you a healthy young individual whose chances of getting the corona are not that high, and even if you do get it could probably, pass right through you? Or do you have a health concern that, yes, we do need to know about in order to allow you to not work today, right? So throughout the virus, we're making all of these excuses of, I can't work, I can't do this, I can't launch that business, I can't get off the couch today, right? You're going to see where I'm going with this. So we've taken all of this, I can't, because, and now we're like, oh, I can't go back to work, I don't feel ready yet, I'm still afraid I'm going to get sick, I can't get off the couch, I'm not fit to go back to work. And we're starting to make excuses now, even though the economy is starting to try to get better again and businesses are trying to open again. You might think this podcast is going to get political, and it's not going to get political, but I just wanted to let everyone know my opinion on if businesses want to open up, let them open up. And don't bash any business that is trying to open up and continue throughout what's going on with our world, right? Don't bash those who are trying to do something for this economy, for your local state, your local town, right? We can't have businesses shut down forever. Then nothing will happen and the dollar will mean nothing. And I promise you, the money that you're getting from the government will die very quickly if we don't get these businesses back up and running again. And if we don't support them ourselves, right? Businesses need customers. We need to be willing to go out to restaurants, to go to a home decor store or to a clothing store, or to go buy groceries at that local market, or to go look for insurance again, or go into the bank and ask for a bank loan. We need to be able to do these things again, because that's what makes the economy go round, and that's what's going to keep money in our pockets. And money, while it's not everything, it's going to make us feel a hell of a lot better. So that's all I'm going to say about that. But what I wanted to say also with that is how we can't make excuses, because if you make excuses, nothing's going to happen. And then you're going to wake up and you're going to make the excuse of nothing happening because you made the excuse earlier of not wanting to do anything, which means you're just going to blame someone else, right? You see how there's this vicious cycle: excuse, blame, excuse, blame, excuse, blame. I don't care whether you're working right now, whether you're not working right now, whether you have kids at home, whether you have a spouse at home, whether you are, a healthcare provider or not, whatever job you have. If you want to get something done, don't use the excuse of the coronavirus to stop you from getting that done, right? Throughout this quarantine, everyone here's a perfect example. Before the quarantine, before the coronavirus was even a thing, you would make an excuse to not go to the gym. I can't go to the gym. I don't have time. I don't feel good. Oh, it's rainy. Oh, I'm low on gas. Oh, I have a headache. Oh, I have period cramps. Oh, I just don't have the energy. And then you start blaming things for your weight gain. Oh, it was that pasta. Oh, it was that smoothie I drank. Oh, it was those crackers that I ate. Oh, it was the grocery store. They just forced me to buy all this food. Oh, it was, the advertising. It was the money. So you start making excuses and then you blame people. And see, before the quarantine, you didn't go to the gym, so you're not going to lose weight. And then the quarantine comes around and you're all hyped up because everyone's talking about fitness and you're like, yeah, I'm going to get fit today. This is my quarantine. I'm not going to do the quarantine 20. I'm going to do the quarantine less 20, which means I'm going to lose 20 pounds instead of gaining 20 pounds, right? I mean, in fact, some people are actually mocking and like joking about the quarantine 20. It's like the college 20 or whatever that saying was, the freshman 10 or what have you. It's like the quarantine 10, the quarantine 20. So everyone was like hyped. You saw all of these online videos on exercises. Everyone was trying to go live classes. And then guess what? Those excuse makers started making excuses again. Oh, yeah, I don't have time during lockdown and quarantine, even though I'm not working, to exercise. I have kids. I have my husband. I have food to put on the table. I have wine to drink. I have my dog to talk to. I don't have time to exercise. And then people are going to put on all this weight, so they're going to start blaming things like their kids and the quarantine for their weight gain, when essentially it was all because you made the excuse to sit on your ass instead of get off your ass and do something about it. I'm not trying to make this like a in your face, poor you. That's not the point of this podcast. The point of this podcast is to be harsh in the fact that you need to stop making excuses and blaming things for your lack of action because you've decided to live this life, this quarantine life, through excuses. So last week, I actually talked about how fear is obviously really bad, but it can be super motivational, and how many people have taken their fear and have built empires from it. Multi-million billion dollar companies all started from fear of a single individual, right? So now I'm telling you, the reason you're not getting the results right now, you probably need to look at what type of excuses and how many excuses you're making throughout the day. Pretty much, if you want to lose weight and you haven't yet, what excuses are you telling yourself, your spouse, your kids, or who are you blaming for the fact that you haven't been able to shed that 10 pounds off, even though you've had nothing but time? Or what are the excuses that you're making that are holding you back from starting that business, or writing that book, or selling that painting, or doing something to create some type of side income during this time? What are those excuses that are holding you back? What are some of the excuses that are holding you back? Even if you're still employed right now and still have a job, you still are probably making excuses, which is why you're not at that promotional level that you wanted to be at, right? What excuses are you making or have made because of this quarantine? Are you telling yourself you're not fit for that promotion because of what's going on with the quarantine, because of what the company is going through because of this quarantine? No, do not think that. You are meant, and you will get that promotion. If you stop making excuses for yourself and your business, you will get that promotion, right? So this goes on to any aspect in life, literally anything. And it's just, I'm talking about this topic. I was actually going to totally talk about something else, and I recorded it, and then I listened to it, and I was like, I don't really want to talk about that yet, because the topic that I was going to talk about was ways to create a side income during this time. But then that kind of morphed into this topic of no excuses, which is why I say there is no excuse that you can make that will actually matter, because excuses don't create action. And taking action in your life, is what's going to create a better life for yourself. So this is all about better mindset, being ambitious, having abundance and wealth in all areas of life. You can't do that until you face the fact that you're making excuses for yourself day in and day out. So here's my call to action for you, because I love call to actions, and I always want you guys to walk away doing something, engaging your brain after listening to these podcasts. So throughout the day, on day 1, I want you to carry a journal around with you. And this is going to be very easy if you're not working. If you are working, then write it down in your phone. Every time you make an excuse for not doing something, and I mean every time. I mean, if you wanted to wake up at 6 o'clock and you didn't, you woke up at 7, what's your excuse for not waking up? If you wanted to shower before work, but you didn't and threw dry shampoo in, what's your excuse for not getting ready for work? If you wanted to walk your dog before work and didn't, what's your excuse? If you wanted to do the laundry today and didn't, what is your excuse? If you wanted to create a book or an ebook today and you didn't, what's your excuse? Maybe not a book in a day. I mean, that's kind of unrealistic. But if your manager asked you to do a report and you didn't, what's your excuse? What are you making up? How many excuses are you making today? Or this will probably be tomorrow, whenever you listen to this. I want you to do that. I want you to start making a list the minute you listen to this podcast, and start making a list for 24 hours of all the excuses you make throughout the day. Don't judge yourself. Don't second guess anything. We're not getting there yet. Just write down, I didn't wake up early because I was tired. Excuse, write it down. I didn't do the laundry today because I forgot. Excuse, write it down. I didn't do that report for my boss because I thought like it was total bullshit. That's an excuse. Write it down. Just write down all these excuses. And then the next day, so 48 hours later, I want you to look at your excuse list, see how many you're making, and try to take that number and half it for the day. Do half the excuses and see how you feel. See what you accomplish. See what things you get done. And then in 72 hours, I want you to think of a flip response to every time you're making an excuse, which pretty much means every time you go to say the words but, or, I just can't. Come on, what if every time you say these pausing, excuse-making words, stop yourself mid-track and flip it. Start saying, okay, I can make time for that. I will make time for that. All right, boss, I will get that done for you and give me 30 minutes. Okay, dog, I'm going to walk you today for 15 minutes. Boom. Time it on your watch. Okay, universe, I'm going to wake up at 5 o'clock. Boom. Don't make any excuses. Just go do it. And then see how the rest of your week plays out. I guarantee you're probably going to get 10 more things done that you weren't able to get done before. And as you continue to practice this exercise, you're going to be able to create fewer excuses throughout the day, throughout the week, throughout the month, throughout the year, throughout your life. And you're going to be able to take action more often because you don't have these excuses holding you back. All right, we're about almost 20 minutes in, which is where I normally like to leave off the podcast. And I feel like, we stopped at a good point. I'm giving you a call to action. I want you guys to go do something, to go write something down. Let me know if you do this exercise. Let me know how you feel. And, it comes back to don't ever, ever, ever beat yourself up. Everyone makes excuses. It's totally normal. It's totally natural. Guys, I didn't wake up at 6 a.m. this morning like I'm supposed to because I made the excuse that my webinar last night went to 11 o'clock. And because of that, that means that I can't get up at 6. Everyone makes excuses, right? It's totally okay. It's natural. We're humans. It's fine. But if we do this exercise, if we create fewer excuses throughout our day, I promise you'll get more stuff done. And you'll feel so much better about yourself because you're going to feel more motivated because you smashed 10 more goals than you've ever been able to hit just because you've cut down your excuses. Tune in next week. I'm actually going to talk about a topic that is probably another touchy topic that no one likes to admit. And we're just going to say it deals with how you perceive yourself towards others. And it's going to be really juicy, but I hope you liked this episode. Thanks so much for tuning in. I really, really, honestly, I really hope you go do that exercise. And I really would love if you can give me some feedback and let me know if it worked and let me know how you feel. And, hang in there. This coronavirus thing, it's weird. It's unsettling. It's confusing. But, let's get the economy back up and running. Let's feel good about ourselves. Let's support our local communities, our local businesses. Let's support this beautiful economy so that everyone can start making luscious money again so we can do things like vacation because I want to go to Hawaii. Woohoo! So just keep thinking of all these positive things. Hang in there. The virus will be maybe not fully controlled, but it will calm down soon enough. And just remember that there's always a purpose to everything going on in life. All right. I love you guys. Thank you so much for tuning in, and I'll chat next week. Bye. Thanks for listening to this episode. If you got some value or just feel fired up, I would love for you to take a screenshot and tag me in your Instagram stories. It's always so motivating to see you getting the inspiration you needed to level up for my podcast. I'm going to keep showing up and bringing my best self to these episodes, and I encourage you to do the same. If you think a friend or family member would enjoy this episode, I would love for you to share the ambition. I can't wait to chat next week, but until then, keep being ambitious AF.